Welcome 1986 One Dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, right? Yet collectors around the world whisper about a seemingly ordinary 1986 P. Roosevelt dime that might be worth an astonishing $86 million under the right circumstances. Yes, a tiny 10-cent coin, smaller than a fingernail, potentially carrying a value higher than luxury mansions, supercars, or even entire businesses. Most people see a dime and think nothing of it. But what if one specific 1986 Philadelphia Mint dime, hiding in circulation, holds a secret so rare that collectors would fight over it at auction? Today, we're diving deep into the mystery, history, and unbelievable value of the legendary 1986 P. Roosevelt dime, a coin that proves pocket change can sometimes rewrite someone's entire future. Now, before we go deeper, here's something important. Later in this video, we'll also talk about another 1986 dime from a different mint that collectors are hunting with equal obsession, and its story is even more shocking. So make sure you stay with me until the end, because the details might completely change how you look at every dime you touch. Let's begin with the fascinating story behind the 1986 P. Roosevelt dime. In 1986, the United States Mint in Philadelphia produced hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes as part of normal circulation. At first glance, they look identical to any modern dime. Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait on the front, the torch with olive and oak branches on the reverse, and a simple metallic shine. Nothing about the design screams rare treasure. In fact, millions of people use these coins daily in vending machines, parking meters, and grocery stores without a second thought. But hidden among the massive production were a handful of anomalies. Coins that experienced unusual minting circumstances that quietly transformed them from everyday currency into numismatic legends. To understand why collectors care so much about the 1986 P dime, you have to understand the minting process. During production, blank metal discs called planchets are struck by heavy dies that imprint the design under enormous pressure. If everything goes perfectly, the result is a normal coin worth exactly 10 cents. But sometimes something goes wrong. And when something goes wrong in just the right way, the mistake becomes extremely valuable. One of the most talked about possibilities with the 1986 P dime involves a rare die anomaly that may have occurred during a short production run. According to several numismatic researchers, a die used in the Philadelphia Mint may have developed microscopic doubling combined with an extremely unusual strike pressure variation. The result? A tiny group of dimes displaying faint but unmistakable doubling around Roosevelt's profile and lettering that can only be seen under magnification. To the average person, it looks perfectly normal. But to collectors, that tiny detail could mean everything. Now here's where things get really interesting. Over the decades, rumors began circulating in collector circles that one nearly perfect example of this rare strike surfaced in a private collection in the early 2000s. The coin reportedly displayed extraordinary preservation, nearly flawless surfaces, and the mysterious die characteristics experts had been searching for. When numismatists examined it, some believed it represented a previously undocumented strike variation from the Philadelphia Mint. If authenticated and graded at the highest level, collectors estimated the coin's theoretical value could reach tens of millions, with some dramatic projections even pushing the number close to $86 million because of its extreme rarity combined with pristine condition. That's the number that turned this quiet dime into a global talking point among rare coin hunters. Think about that for a moment. A coin originally worth 10 cents, less than the price of a piece of candy, potentially becoming one of the most valuable modern dimes ever discussed. Stories like this are exactly why coin collectors search tirelessly through jars, drawers, and old piggy banks. Because sometimes history hides in the smallest objects. And the 1986 P dime has several characteristics you can check if you ever come across one. First, look just to the left of the date on the obverse side. Philadelphia coins from this period often have no mint mark, which already makes identification interesting. Then examine Roosevelt's face and the lettering around Liberty and I in God We Trust using a magnifying glass. Rare doubled features or unusual strike patterns could indicate something special. Next, inspect the coin's surface. High-grade specimens show extremely sharp details on the torch flames and the olive branches on the reverse. If a coin somehow survived decades without scratches, wear, or dullness, collectors start paying very close attention. The most valuable coins are often those preserved almost perfectly, as if they were struck yesterday. But what truly drives the fascination with the 1986 P dime is the possibility that undiscovered examples may still exist in circulation. Unlike ancient gold coins locked in museum displays, modern coins like this one were released directly into everyday use. That means someone might unknowingly have one sitting inside a coin jar, a forgotten drawer, or even loose change from a grocery store purchase. Imagine paying for a soda with a coin worth millions simply because you didn't look closely. It sounds unbelievable, but similar discoveries have happened before in the world of numismatics. Collectors still talk about incredible moments when ordinary people accidentally found coins worth thousands or even millions inside inherited collections. The thrill of that possibility keeps people searching. Another factor that fuels the legend is auction psychology. When extremely wealthy collectors compete for a unique coin, prices can skyrocket far beyond traditional estimates. In rare cases, a coin becomes so famous that its value grows from pure demand and prestige. Owning it becomes a status symbol, a piece of history that only one person can claim. If the rumored ultra-rare 1986 P dime were ever publicly auctioned in perfect condition, the bidding war could be intense enough to push its value into astonishing territory. And that's exactly why collectors remain obsessed with this coin decades after it was minted. But here's the twist that makes this story even more exciting. The Philadelphia dime isn't the only 1986 coin that has stunned collectors. Somewhere in circulation, another dime from the same year, but produced in a different mint, has sparked its own wave of speculation and treasure hunting. Some experts believe that coin could reveal an even stranger minting mystery that few people have noticed. So before you look away from your pocket change tonight, remember this. The 1986 P dime might already be hiding somewhere near you, quietly waiting to be recognized for what it truly is. And if you thought this dime's story was unbelievable, the next coin from 1986 will make you question everything you thought you knew about ordinary change, because its secret is even harder to believe. Next 2006 one dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, right? After all, a dime is something most people barely notice. It slips through our fingers at grocery stores, falls between couch cushions, or sits forgotten inside old jars. But what if I told you that one particular dime from 2006, the mysterious 2006 P. Roosevelt dime, has sparked whispers among collectors because a rare version of this tiny coin has been valued at an astonishing $6 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth just 10 cents on its face could potentially rival the price of a luxury mansion. And the most shocking part is that some of these coins may still be hiding in everyday circulation. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible story of the 2006 P dime, how a simple minting anomaly turned an ordinary coin into a legendary treasure, and why collectors across the world keep searching pocket change hoping to find one. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end of this video, because later we'll also talk about another 2006 dime that has stunned experts and created intense competition among collectors, and its story is even more unbelievable. But first, let's uncover the secret behind the Philadelphia minted 2006 dime. To understand why this coin has become such a sensation, we need to step back and look at the history behind the Roosevelt dime itself. The Roosevelt dime has been part of American currency since 1946, created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. Designed by the sculptor John R. Sinek, the coin features Roosevelt's portrait on the front and a torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. For decades, billions of Roosevelt dimes have been produced, most of them incredibly common and worth only face value. But sometimes, deep inside the minting process where massive presses strike coins at incredible speed, tiny mistakes happen, and those mistakes can transform a simple coin into something priceless. In 2006, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of dimes across different facilities, including the Philadelphia Mint, which marks its coins with the small P mint mark. Normally, these coins are made with a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel, giving them their familiar silver appearance. But according to collector rumors and reports that have circulated for years, a handful of 2006 P dimes were accidentally struck under extremely unusual circumstances. Some experts believe that experimental planchets, the blank metal discs used to create coins, were mistakenly mixed into the production line. Others claim that a small number of dimes were struck using special polished dies intended for proof coins, creating an unusually sharp, mirror-like finish that was never meant for circulation. And then there's the most fascinating theory of all, that one or two of these coins were struck on the wrong metal planchet entirely, possibly a leftover silver planchet from a collector-proof run or even a transitional alloy test. If such a coin escaped the mint and entered circulation unnoticed, its rarity would be almost unimaginable. That's where the $6 million valuation begins to make sense. In the world of numismatics, rarity plus mystery equals explosive value. Imagine a coin that technically shouldn't exist, a 2006 P dime with a striking error so rare that only a handful might ever be discovered. Collectors dream about moments like this. Stories circulate at coin shows about lucky individuals who found rare mint errors in everyday change. One of the most talked about stories among enthusiasts involves a Midwest coin roll hunter who reportedly discovered an unusually bright 2006 P dime while searching through bank-wrapped rolls. At first glance, the coin looked different. The edges shimmered with a tone more like silver than the typical copper-nickel clad. After weighing and examining it, experts realized the coin might have been struck on the wrong metal composition. While the exact details remain debated in the collector community, the rumor alone was enough to ignite massive interest in the 2006 P dime. Auction houses began speculating that if a verified example of such a rare minting error surfaced, the price could skyrocket into the millions. That's how the legendary $6 million figure became attached to this humble coin. But the story doesn't stop there. Some collectors believe the most valuable versions of the 2006 P dime also include dramatic minting errors such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or missing clad layers. Imagine holding a dime where Roosevelt's portrait appears slightly doubled, as if two images were stamped on top of each other. Or a coin where part of the design is shifted dramatically off the center, leaving a blank crescent of metal along the edge. These kinds of errors occur when the minting dies are misaligned or damaged, and when they combine with an already rare coin year. The results can be breathtakingly valuable. In fact, certain dramatic mint errors on other coins have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So when collectors imagine a rare 2006 P dime with multiple mint anomalies, the potential value quickly climbs into the millions. Now here's the part that makes this story truly thrilling. Many collectors believe that undiscovered examples could still be hiding in circulation today. Think about how many times you've received dimes as change at a store, Or how many jars of coins sit untouched in closets and drawers across the country? Somewhere out there, a tiny 10-cent coin might be quietly waiting to change someone's life forever. That possibility is exactly why coin hunters search through thousands of rolls from banks, carefully inspecting every date and mint mark. And remember earlier when I hinted that another 2006 dime shocked collectors even more? We'll be revealing that coin soon, and the twist behind it has caused some experts to rethink everything they thought they knew about modern U.S. coinage. But before we get there, let's talk about how you can identify a potentially valuable 2006 P dime yourself. First, check the date and look for the small P mint mark next to Roosevelt's neck on the obverse. Next, examine the coin's color and shine. If it appears unusually bright, mirror-like, or slightly different from other dimes, it might deserve closer inspection. Then look at the edges. A typical clad dime shows a copper stripe along the rim, but a rare wrong planchet strike might not. Weight is another crucial clue. Standard dimes weigh about 2.27 grams, so anything noticeably heavier or lighter could indicate a minting anomaly. And finally, inspect the design details carefully for doubling, off-center strikes, or missing layers of metal. Even small irregularities can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. The truth is, the thrill of coin collecting comes from these moments of possibility. A coin that millions of people ignore might actually hold a secret worth a fortune. That's exactly why the legend of the 2006 P dime continues to grow year after year. Collectors share stories online, coin shops examine suspicious finds, and treasure hunters keep checking their change just in case lightning strikes. And yet, as incredible as this coin's story is, it's only the beginning. Because the next coin in this journey, another dime from the same year but struck at a different mint, has its own shocking mystery that has collectors scrambling to check their coin jars all over again. Some say its rare versions appeared in places nobody expected, and the discovery stories surrounding it are even more unbelievable. So before you spend your next dime, take a second look, because the next coin we're about to explore might make the 2006 P story feel like just the warm-up. Next, 2011 one dime to my YouTube channel. What if the small dime you receive in change after buying a cup of coffee could secretly be worth more than a luxury mansion, a fleet of supercars, or even a private island? It sounds impossible, almost like a myth collectors tell each other late at night. But sometimes the most ordinary coins hide the most extraordinary stories. Today we're diving into one of the most mysterious modern coins in American circulation, the 2011 P. Roosevelt dime. At first glance, it looks identical to millions of others minted that year, but a rare variation has stunned collectors and sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. Some experts believe that a single perfect example could reach an astonishing value of nearly $11 million if the right buyer appears. And the wildest part? Coins like this might still be quietly sitting in change jars, piggy banks, or forgotten drawers across the country. But before we uncover exactly why the 2011 P dime became so valuable, make sure you stay with me until the end of this story, because later we'll also talk about another coin from the same year that collectors whisper about constantly, and its secret is even harder to detect. Most people spend these coins every single day without a second thought, and that's exactly why a fortune could slip right through your fingers. To understand why the 2011 P. Roosevelt dime can reach such unbelievable prices, we have to travel back to the year 2011 at the Philadelphia Mint, the historic facility responsible for producing billions of coins for everyday circulation. That year seemed routine for the United States Mint. Millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck with the familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front, a design that has been used since 1946 to honor the president who helped lead America through the Great Depression and World War II. On the reverse side, the torch, olive branch, and oak branch symbolized liberty, peace, and strength, a design that collectors know by heart. Nothing about the design seemed unusual. Nothing suggested that a coin from that year would someday be discussed alongside legendary rarities. Yet hidden inside the massive production run was a tiny anomaly that would later ignite a frenzy among collectors. During the minting process, coins are struck using hardened steel dies that imprint the design onto blank metal planchets. Normally, these dies are replaced before any noticeable flaw appears. But sometimes a die develops microscopic cracks or shifts ever so slightly out of alignment. When that happens, a small number of coins are struck with subtle differences that only the most observant eyes can detect. In the case of the mysterious 2011 P dime, some numismatists believe a die alignment issue occurred during an early production run. The result? A nearly invisible double detail on Roosevelt's profile, combined with an unusual metallic luster that appears almost mirror-like under the right lighting. To the average person, it still looks like pocket change. But to collectors, it's a signal that something special happened inside the mint that day. Stories began circulating on coin forums and collector communities when a hobbyist in the Midwest reportedly discovered a strange 2011 P dime while sorting through bank rolls. At first, he thought it was simply a shiny coin, maybe one that hadn't circulated much. But when he examined it under magnification, he noticed something strange in the lettering near Liberty and along the torch on the reverse side. The details appeared doubled, not dramatically, but enough to suggest a rare die variety. When the coin was submitted to professional graders, experts reportedly debated its origin for weeks. Eventually, it was labeled as an extremely rare mint anomaly. Rumors spread quickly, and collectors began hunting through thousands of 2011 dimes hoping to find another example. And that's where the legend of the $11 million dime truly began. In the world of rare coins, value doesn't always come from age. Sometimes it comes from scarcity, mystery, and demand colliding at the same moment. If only a handful of coins share a specific error, or if just one perfect specimen exists, collectors with deep pockets can push the value to astonishing levels. Imagine two billionaire collectors both trying to own the only known example of a unique modern mint error. Suddenly, a 10-cent coin becomes a multi-million-dollar treasure. And that possibility is exactly what keeps people searching. Coin roll hunters across the United States now examine every 2011 P dime they encounter. They check the mint mark just to the left of the torch on the reverse, confirming the P from Philadelphia. Then they tilt the coin under light, looking for that unusual reflective shine and the faint doubling around Roosevelt's face and the inscriptions. Most of the time, they find nothing special, just a normal dime worth 10 cents. But occasionally a coin appears that makes a collector's heart race. And that possibility is what fuels the obsession. Because the next time you receive change at a grocery store or gas station, the coin in your palm could be one that slipped quietly through the mint's quality control and entered circulation unnoticed. What makes the story even more fascinating is that modern coins like the 2011 P dime were produced in enormous numbers, which means many people assume they cannot possibly be rare. But history has proven the opposite again and again. Some of the most valuable coins ever discovered were hiding in plain sight for decades because nobody thought to examine them closely. That's why collectors always say the same thing. The most valuable coin might already be in your house. You just haven't looked carefully enough yet. And while the mysterious Philadelphia version has already captured the imagination of collectors, whispers in the numismatic community suggest that another coin from the same year may be even more intriguing. Before we reach that story in our next episode, remember this: the difference between a 10-cent coin and a life-changing discovery could be nothing more than a tiny detail most people overlook. Somewhere out there, another rare 2011 dime might still be circulating from hand to hand, waiting for someone curious enough to notice it. So keep watching closely, Because the next coin we're about to explore, another 2011 Roosevelt dime from a different mint, carries a secret that even experienced collectors sometimes miss. And when people finally realize what makes it special, the reaction is always the same: disbelief.